The rug was pulled out from under their feet. That is not my phrase. That is what sources close to Prince Harry are saying right now. Today, as the most emotionally loaded family trip in modern royal history hangs on the edge of collapse. The security was denied. The children may not be coming. And a father who has fought for years to bring his son and daughter home to the country he was born in is reportedly distraught. Welcome to Royal Daily Report. I'm your host, James. And today, July 1st, 2026, we are covering a story that is breaking in real time. Because what has happened in the last 48 hours to Prince Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet is not just a logistical problem. It is not just a bureaucratic decision. It is a gut punch to a family that was finally, after 4 years, trying to come home. Let me take you through everything that has happened, step by step, because the details matter enormously here. Last Friday, a spokesperson for the Sussex family confirmed what royal watchers had been hoping for months. Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, would visit the United Kingdom in July, from July 7th to July 11th, with their 2 children, 7-year-old Archie and 5-year-old Lilibet. 5 days. The first publicly known trip to the UK for the Sussex children since June 2022, when they briefly attended the Platinum Jubilee celebrations for the late Queen Elizabeth. The announcement generated enormous excitement, not just because of the Invictus Games countdown events Harry was scheduled to attend in Birmingham, not just because Meghan would be making her first public appearance in Britain in 6 years, but because of what the trip represented at a personal, human level. Archie and Lilibet coming home to the country their father still, in his heart, calls home. There were reports that Harry had been quietly planning something deeply private and deeply meaningful for his children during this trip. A visit to Althorpe House in Northamptonshire, Princess Diana's ancestral home. The place where their grandmother is buried on a quiet island surrounded by trees she loved. The trip was reportedly planned to fall close to what would have been Diana's 65th birthday on July 1st. Today, think about that for a moment. Lilibet, whose middle name honors Diana, 5 years old, being brought to her grandmother's grave for the very first time. On her grandmother's birthday. That was the plan. That was the dream. And then, just days after the announcement, the phone call Harry did not want to receive. His application for a security package for the visit had been denied. The Royal and VIP Executive Committee, known as RAVEC, the Home Office body responsible for deciding which high-profile public figures receive taxpayer-funded protective security, turned down Harry's request. The decision means the Sussex family will receive police protection only when they are physically within royal residences. The moment they step outside those walls, to a charity event, to a private venue, to Althorpe, to anywhere, Harry is on his own with his privately funded California-based security team. A source close to Harry told The Guardian on June 28 that the prince is distraught. That word, distraught, is not a word that gets used lightly about a man who has spent years training himself to be stoic in public. Distraught. And the same source made clear that Harry will not subject Archie and Lilibet to being, in their words, chased by paparazzi wherever they go from the moment they step off the plane. Let me explain why this decision hit so hard, and why the timing makes it even more painful. Harry has been fighting this battle for years. He lost his publicly funded UK security when he and Meghan stepped back from royal duties in 2020. He appealed the decision and lost again in May 2025. He told the BBC last year that he did not believe it was safe to bring his family to the United Kingdom under the existing security arrangements. He said, in words that stayed with anyone who heard them, "It is quite sad that I won't be able to show my children my homeland." But then came a development that gave him genuine hope. RAVEC itself decided last November that an independent risk management board was necessary, a full, independent review of Harry's security requirements. This was not Harry's demand. This was RAVEC's own decision. And Harry was told the review was scheduled for March 2026. He waited. March came and went. The review did not happen. He kept waiting. The July trip was planned around the assumption that the review would eventually take place and a decision would be made before the family traveled. And then, just days before he was due to travel, he was informed the review still had not happened, and his application had been denied anyway. Harry's spokesperson issued a statement that was remarkable for its precision and its barely contained fury. The statement pointed out that the independent risk management board that Ravek itself decided was necessary last November has still not taken place. And it asked directly, how can the proportionality of the current arrangements be credibly maintained without that independent assessment? In plain language, Ravek promised its own review, did not conduct it, and then denied Harry's security request without the benefit of that review. That is not just disappointing. That is, by any fair reading, a process failure. And Harry's team was not finished. They made clear that accommodation has never been the issue. This was a direct response to the narrative being pushed in some quarters that Harry was simply refusing the king's offer of royal residences and creating a security problem himself. No, the spokesperson said. The issue is not where they stay. The issue is what happens when they leave. The issue is a father trying to take his 5-year-old daughter to her grandmother's grave in a country that will not guarantee them police protection while they do it. Now let us talk about the human reality of what this means for Archie and Lilibet. Because this is the part of the story that I think gets lost in all the political and institutional language. Archie is 7 years old. The last time he was in the United Kingdom, he was 3. He has no real memory of this country. He knows it the way any child knows a place from photographs and stories, abstractly, distantly, without the texture of lived experience. He has cousins in Britain he barely knows. He has a grandfather, King Charles, who loves him and who, the last time they were in the same room together, was at the Platinum Jubilee 4 years ago. 4 years is more than half of Archie's entire life. Lilibet is 5 years old. She has one memory of Britain, if she has one at all. She was 1 year old at the Jubilee. Her middle name, Diana, connects her to a grandmother she will never meet and a history she has not yet been given the chance to touch. She was going to go to Althorpe. She was going to stand on the island where Diana rests. And now that plan is in jeopardy because a government committee denied a security application. A source told the Telegraph directly, it is what impact such moments would have on the kids that everyone is most concerned about. Not the headlines. Not the politics. The kids. Now the Sussexes are currently in Portugal, a European holiday before the planned UK leg of the trip. And right now, Harry is described as exploring every available option. His spokesperson used that exact phrase, every available option, which tells you two things simultaneously. 1. The trip is not canceled. 2. The path to making it work safely has become significantly narrower and significantly more complicated. One option being discussed is that Meghan and the children could enter and exit the United Kingdom in a single day, flying in, spending time with Charles at a royal residence where police protection is guaranteed, and flying out the same day. One day, after 4 years. For a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old who have never properly known this country. Another option is that Harry travels alone for his charity engagements while Meghan and the children remain elsewhere in Europe and join only briefly if a secure arrangement can be confirmed. Neither of these options is what this trip was supposed to be. Neither of them involves Archie and Lilibet getting to know Britain slowly and safely. Neither of them involves a visit to Althorpe. I want to take a moment to address something directly, because there will be people watching this who feel that Harry brought this situation on himself, that he walked away from the royal family, gave up his security status, and should not expect British taxpayers to fund his protection when he chooses to visit. I understand that argument. It is held by a significant number of people in Britain and around the world. But here is the counter-argument that I think deserves equal weight. Harry is the son of the King of England. He served 10 years in the British military, including 2 tours of Afghanistan. He founded the Invictus Games, which has brought immense positive attention to Britain and to the cause of wounded veterans. He is coming to Britain not for a holiday, not for a media opportunity, but for charity events connected to military veterans and sick children. And he is asking not for permanent protection or lavish taxpayer-funded security details across the world. He is asking for protection during a specific, time-limited visit to a country where his level of public recognition and the media interest in his family creates genuine security risks that his private team cannot fully mitigate. Whether you think he deserves that protection or not is a political and moral question on which reasonable people disagree. But the process question, whether Ravek conducting its own promised review before making a decision was reasonable to expect, seems harder to argue with. And the children's question is harder still. Because Archie and Lilibet did not make any choices about royal life. They did not sign any statements. They did not give any interviews. They are 7 and 5 years old, and they are paying a price for a dispute they had no part in creating. Harry has said publicly, on record, "It is quite sad that I won't be able to show my children my homeland." Those words have been sitting out there for a year. And now, with the trip approaching, with Althorp waiting, with Charles ready to receive his grandchildren, the British government's Security Committee has made it significantly harder for those words to change. Sources say Charles is deeply invested in this visit happening. The king has offered accommodation at royal residences. He has made clear he wants to see Archie and Lilibet. He is, by all accounts, approaching this as a grandfather who has been separated from his grandchildren for 4 years and who does not want to waste this moment. Whether Charles has any political leverage over Ravek's decision, or whether he is as constrained by the system as everyone else, is not publicly known. What is known is this: Harry is distraught. The security was denied. The children's place on the plane is under active reconsideration. And a father is sitting in Portugal right now, exploring every available option, trying to find a way to take his daughter to her grandmother's grave on her grandmother's birthday in a country that will not guarantee her safety while she does it. July 7th is 1 week away. The window is narrow. The emotions are raw. And the decision, whether Archie and Lilibet board that plane, may be the most consequential parenting decision Harry has ever faced. Because some things you cannot explain to a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. You cannot explain Ravek. You cannot explain case-by-case security assessments. You cannot explain why their grandfather lives in a palace that is safe, but the road between the palace and their grandmother's grave is not. What you can do is fight for them. And by every account we have, that is exactly what Harry is doing right now. We will bring you every development as this story unfolds in the coming days. July 7th is coming, and the world will be watching. I'm James. This has been Royal Daily Report. Share this if it moved you. Subscribe so you never miss a breaking report. And we will see you in the next one.